Coming up on Top 30, panic on board the plane that dropped 20,000 feet in midair. This could be the car of the future, and a double amputee veteran is running a month of marathons. So these stories coming up on Top 30.
Two words are flooding social media feeds as women post them to call attention to sexual assault. Me Too. Actress Alyssa Milano tweeted, "If all the women who have been sexually harassed or assaulted wrote Me Too as a status, we might give people a sense of the magnitude of the problem." Milano starred on the show Charmed along with Rose McGowan, one of the actresses who has publicly accused movie mogul Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault. Within hours of Milano's post, over 200,000 tweets with the hashtag #MeToo had been posted on Twitter. Another 80,000 came forward on Facebook. Celebrities like Rosario Dawson and Lady Gaga posted just the words "Me Too." Others added painful stories, like actress Evan Rachel Wood. She wrote, "Because I was shamed and considered a party girl, I felt I deserved it." The movement isn't limited to famous females. One woman wrote on Twitter that she was raped twice, stalked 4 times, and had her life threatened when she tried to come forward. Another said she was groped in an elevator by a superior at work and never told anyone. Some men have also posted to offer support or share their own stories, including actor Mark Ruffalo and actor Javier Munoz. The trend is spreading. Similar hashtags are being generated in other countries, showing this issue is universal.
The first NFL player who knelt for the national anthem more than a year ago has filed a grievance claiming the 32 team owners are colluding to keep him out of the league. Colin Kaepernick's original protest was before a preseason game in 2016, and he said it was to draw attention to racial inequality and police brutality against African Americans. He opted out of his contract after last season, expecting to get a new deal from an NFL team, but has not yet been signed. His attorney released a statement saying the grievance was filed only after pursuing every possible avenue with all NFL teams, and that athletes who protest peacefully should not be denied employment because of partisan political provocation by the executive branch of our government. President Trump recently called out all NFL players who kneel for the anthem, saying that owners should fire them. The federal government has teamed up with states to crack down on student loan scams. The Federal Trade Commission and attorneys general from 11 states have filed charges against 30 defendants, and they say those companies preyed on borrowers by making false promises to lower their student loan payments and collected more than $95 million in illegal fees. Showing a flair for puns not often seen at the FTC, the new initiative is called Game of Loans. One of their targets, Student Debt Doctor in Florida, allegedly charged an upfront fee of $750. In exchange, they allegedly filed applications for federal repayment plans with fake information. The official FTC statement says winter is coming for debt relief scams that prey on hard-working Americans struggling to pay back their student loans. This is an all-out war on student loan scammers, and just like Game of Thrones itself, very few of the key players are expected to survive.
These are your quick hits. More than 300 people are dead and hundreds injured after massive truck bomb attacks on Saturday in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. It marks the deadliest attacks ever on the country, and officials blame the al-Qaeda-linked extremist group Al-Shabaab. Passengers on an Air Asia flight from Perth to Bali are shaken after a technical issue on the aircraft caused it to plummet more than 20,000 feet. An emergency landing was made. No passengers were injured, but they claim panic was escalated by the flight crew screaming. And Joe Jonas and Game of Thrones actress Sophie Turner are engaged. The duo announced the good news in corresponding Instagram posts on Sunday. Joe captioned the photo, "She said yes," while she captioned hers, "I said yes." They've reportedly been dating for about a year.
Brace yourselves for La Nina. While it's still too early to tell what the winter holds, the National Weather Service has predicted that it's, quote, favorable that we will experience La Nina conditions. In fact, forecasters give it a 55 to 65% chance of forming over the fall and winter of 2017 and 2018, which is pretty significant. So what does it mean for you? Well, typically, the Northwest will be hit with more snow and cold temperatures than usual, while the southern tier of the US will be unusually dry. Meanwhile, the southeast and mid-Atlantic will have warmer than average temperatures during a La Nina winter. Globally, La Nina would bring heavy rainfall to the Philippines, Indonesia, southern Africa, and northern Australia. I mean, when you break it down, they're saying in the winter there'll be snow in New York, Los Angeles will be dry, and Miami will be warm. It is essentially exactly what you expect.
When a terminally ill person has a wish, anyone would want to make that wish come true, including Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who was contacted by the family of 76-year-old Judy Rosenberg. Judy just entered hospice for stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and by her bedside, there's a cardboard cutout of the hunky actor sporting the iconic black Speedos from his WWE days. The Rock sent her an Instagram video he captioned, "This kind of stuff will always be the best part of fame."
Judy, you're beautiful, you're clearly sexy. Myself and now millions of people who are watching this are sending you all the love and all the positive energy in the world. We love you. Stay strong.
Well, we're sending Judy all the positive vibes as well, but we don't know if we'll make her quite as happy as The Rock.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I'm hearing news about Viacom.
Viacom and Charter have agreed on a short-term extension of their renewal deadline. If no deal is reached, an estimated 16 million Charter subscribers will lose Viacom's networks, which include Comedy Central, MTV, Spike TV, and Nickelodeon. Attention drivers, how does a self-driving talking car sound to you? Well, that's what Toyota Motors is planning. Using artificial intelligence, the company intends to design cars that will be able to interact with drivers, read their emotions and alertness to do things such as take over driving if, say, the driver is too tired. And Bloomberg is reporting that Facebook is looking for employees with national security clearances. The reason? Well, the social media giant wants to help to spot future election meddling.
Nicole, who exactly would qualify for this?
Great question, Richard. Well, former government and intelligence officials or contractors often have national security clearances. That status can carry over to the private sector jobs as long as that position still requires access to the sensitive information.
Scientists have developed advanced fingerprint technology that could help identify criminals faster than ever. Researchers from Sheffield Hallam University have found a way to identify specific molecules within the print. They believe the technology will be ready for court use within the UK in months. And here's how incredible it is. The fingerprint test is able to detect your gender, whether you've taken drugs like cocaine or heroin, what foods and drinks you've consumed, and even whether you've handled a condom. Lead scientist Dr. Simona Francesi says, "I would want to see this technology in high-profile cases such as murder or rape. It's very sophisticated, it's expensive, but it's worthwhile." Bad news for criminals, good news for glove manufacturers.
A new study says falling in love, getting married, and having children might not make you happy. And in fact, it might do the opposite. Business Insider reported data from 30 years of research shows as a new mother cultivates the bond with her baby, her other relationships suffer, including the one she has with her partner. According to Matthew D. Johnson, author of Great Myths of Intimate Relationships, Dating, Sex, and Marriage, this is because the emotional come down after the first year of marriage causes the feelings of being in love to lessen. Compounding this emotional journey with kids causes an even more significant decline in relationship satisfaction. That happens all at once after becoming parents. However, couples without children see a more gradual deterioration of relationship happiness. This doesn't mean having a child will ruin your relationship. It just means if you really want to be happy, don't forget your other half. A letter written just one day before the Titanic sank 105 years ago is going up for auction. Written by first-class passenger Alexander Oscar Holverson on the White Star Line letterhead, the note to his mother says, "So far, we have had very good weather. If all goes well, we will arrive in New York on Wednesday." Well, as we know, it did not go well. The next day, the Titanic hit an iceberg and 1,522 passengers died, including Holgerson. The letter was found folded up in a pocketbook with his personal items and has remained in his family since 1912. It is the only letter written on Titanic stationery on April 13th to be recovered, and it'll go up for auction on October 21st. Initially valued around $106,000, they now think it could grab at least $160,000.
The real estate market is so competitive right now that some parents are refinancing their homes so their kids can buy homes. The idea is that the parents are giving millennials a leg up so they can go all in with cash offers and secure their dream house in a bidding war. The housing market is so fierce right now that first-time buyers only make up 35% of all real estate transactions, a number that's come right down, with house flippers and corporate developers eating up the market. According to the Wall Street Journal, when the purchase closes, the kid then refinances their home and pays back their parents. But it's not as simple as it sounds, because the biggest risk is that the millennial won't qualify for the loan needed to pay their parents back, especially if they paid over the asking price. It is a convoluted idea involving loans, banks, houses, and family, and I can't imagine it will ever go wrong.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 5 New York, a stable in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, provides equine therapy to military veterans. The program, From Combat to Calm, brought vets, almost all of whom suffer from PTSD, to Serenity Stables to interact with horses. Many describe the event as a therapeutic experience.
It's very calming and very, very soothing for me. It's like I could be in the worst mood and the horses just make me happy.
In our second story from Fox 29 Philadelphia, the community rallied around a selfless Gold Star mother by giving her a free home makeover. Jacqueline Dixon lost her son Anthony in Iraq. Since then, she has opened a center to provide resources to veterans. Now community members are giving back to her. Home Depot brought over 100 volunteers to her house and spruced it up with a new screen porch and landscaping.
Sometimes you think people don't care, but they really do care. It's good.
In our final story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay, police dogs had a very unique training ground, a water park. Each year, Busch Gardens lets the Tampa Police Department take over its Adventure Island to train its canine unit. Since the dogs work in Florida, oftentimes that means getting in the water to catch the bad guys. Police officers can control the intensity of the waves, creating a challenging environment for the dogs. The dogs, however, seem to be unfazed. Officers say they're like prize fighters and overcome every obstacle they face.
A concept car called the Float won an international competition and could be the future of transportation. The competitors were challenged with designing a car that utilized electric power, autonomous driving, and connected technology. The Float uses magnetic levitation instead of wheels and is non-directional, which means it can move forward in any direction. Each pod can travel individually, or more pods can attach, allowing more passengers to ride together. The glass gives you a 360-degree view, but it can also tint, allowing the ride to adjust the privacy. Wonderful. This is exactly the kind of futuristic technology we've all seen before and will never hear from again. Screaming your lungs out can actually happen. One 16-year-old girl learned this the hard way when she became short of breath after a concert and doctors found her lungs had collapsed. Published in the Journal of Emergency Medicine, they say the girl reported a sudden onset of symptoms after forceful screaming at the One Direction concert the night prior. A collapsed lung is typically caused by a foreign object forcefully penetrating the lung, acute asthma, or respiratory infections. Doctors were stunned that this young lady had no underlying lung issues and had simply screamed too hard for too long. So the next time you see a fan meeting Harry Styles and they're all like out of breath, they might actually have a collapsed lung.
Denim is bigger than ever, and the latest fashion craze takes vintage jeans and makes it new again, sustainable denim. Eco-fashion retailers Everlane and Reformation have both debuted sustainable lines of denim to their brands. Everlane sourced their upcycled line of jeans from 2% stretched Japanese denim, while Reformation went 100% repurposed by using recycled materials, leftover fabrics, or sustainably sourced fibers. This fad extends into luxury brands with the French fashion line Vetements On, which reworks upcycled denim into jeans that cost $1,450. And if wearing recycled denim isn't for you, recycle your old jeans at Madewell, because they have a partnership that turns your old denim into housing insulation for Habitat for Humanity homes. And in return, you get $20. So no matter what your budget, you can give back by simply wearing your favorite pair of jeans. According to the United Nations, 1 out of every 6 people on Earth live in Africa. But by 2100, they estimate nearly 1/3 of the world's population will reside there. This will bring the population of Africa up to 4 billion people. The UN has found that the rapid growth of Africa is largely due to births outnumbering deaths 4-to-1. African women have an average of 4.5 children, but the research shows even if fertility rates fell to 1.6, the population will still continue to grow because they have such a high number of young women within reproductive age.
We keep hearing about high-profile hacks that cost millions of Americans their privacy. Why do they keep happening? Almost 2 billion records were lost or stolen in the first half of this year alone, according to one security firm, and that is more than double from just a few months ago. In the hack of credit bureau Equifax, over 145 million people had information stolen. Yahoo revealed that in recent years, all 3 billion of its accounts have been compromised. Sony, HBO, Target, and Home Depot have all been hacked. In the height of irony, even the NSA has been breached. The CEO of one cybersecurity firm said, "We're living in the beginning of an era of mass targeted attacks. Things are bad and they're going to get worse." One challenge companies face is their size. A company the size of Sony has systems so massive and so complex, it is difficult for IT teams to find and fix every vulnerability, and hackers only need one. Hacking tools used by nations, including the US, have leaked online, making it easier than ever to launch an assault on a company or on a country. Criminals who steal identities or take computers ransom have a financial incentive to keep going. On the other side, companies have to spend more to increase their security. But cybersecurity experts are most frustrated by something that can't be fixed: human error. Some security issues are found and not fixed in time. In the case of Equifax, a systems flaw was identified in March and exploited months later. For individuals, there are some ways for them to be safe online. Experts say to use strong passwords and keep the software on your phone and computer up to date. They also urge caution when buying connected devices like home appliances or smart speakers. You should also stay off public Wi-Fi. If ever you're a victim of a hack or online scam, the FBI wants you to report it to the Internet Crime Complaint Center. The only real solution is to get rid of your phones and computers, start writing letters again, and keep cash under your mattress.
An undeniable fact of sneaker culture is that the chunky heel is back and possibly bigger than ever, which is why the new SS18 sci-fi themed kicks Louis Vuitton debuted on their runway are everything. The brand turned to designer Nicolas Ghesquiere to fuse the classic look of 90s high-top sneakers with a futuristic vibe perfect for a Jedi. And the result is a shoe that's ripe with the Star Wars essence. How much will fusing your fashionista sensibilities with your love for sci-fi set you back? Only $1,009. But hey, if you love sci-fi, it's cheaper than going to space.
A new paper out of the University of Warwick and Dartmouth College says people are less happy around midlife. Economist Andrew Oswald from the University of Warwick and David Blanchflower from Dartmouth College reviewed data about the psychological health of people from 20 to 90 years old. And researchers say that data indicates a significant drop in happiness between the ages of 30 and 50, but it does not indicate why this happens. The paper also states evidence of this midlife low has substantial effects on people's well-being. However, psychologists disagree with this data, saying that the midlife crisis is in fact a myth. A Marine who lost both of his legs in Afghanistan is running 31 marathons in 31 days. Rob Jones is raising money for veterans charities and hopes his runs will lead to $1 million in donations. And along with raising money, he wants to be an example to other injured vets and show the importance of sacrificing for a larger goal. He started his first marathon in London on Thursday and will run his last one in Washington, D.C. on November the 11th, which is Veterans Day. This is not the first time Jones has completed a grueling physical task to raise money for vets. In 2014, he rode a bicycle from Maine to California in the winter. Jones says he wants to become a better version of himself. Although, to be fair, he already appears to be a pretty good version of himself.
That's it for today's Top 30. Here are some stories coming up that you need to know. Companies can get your personal info and even your location from your cell carrier. We'll tell you how. For the first time ever, a model with albinism will be the face of a major beauty brand. Diseases spread by ticks are on the rise. We'll tell you how to stay safe. And J-Lo's New York penthouse can be yours. We'll give you a tour. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.